So this girl convinced her boyfriend to take out his mom. And the reason I call her a girl is because she is only 17 years old and he is 33 years old. And the reason why she did so will shock you. Viewer discretion is advised. 17-year-old Kaitlyn Coones and 33-year-old Nicole Jones met back when she was only 15 years old. Now it is unclear on how they met, but they've been having an ongoing relationship for the past couple of years. But in 2022, that's when everything changed. So on October 24th, 2022, Jonathan had went to go pick up Kaitlyn from a medical facility over in Columbus, Ohio, and on top of that, she was also in foster care. After picking her up from the medical center, they had traveled over to Millbury, Ohio, into a Super 8 motel, where they started doing some things that we cannot talk about. Later that night, the two were stopped by police officers outside of a truck stop. Now, police thought this was kind of suspicious, so they decided to do a safety check on them to see if they was okay. And upon questioning them, they asked them for both their names and their birthdays, in which Jonathan gave up his willingly, but Kaitlyn, she gave him a whole different name and birthday. And that being suspicious, after they ran the name and it came back as nothing, they started questioning some more, and when they found out that Kaitlyn gave them the wrong name, and they found out also that she was a runaway from the foster care. The both of them were taken in police custody, and after a search of Jonathan's phone, that's when they found he had taken photos and videos of things they did that day. Now, Kaitlyn was sent back to foster care, but Jonathan remained in custody and was charged with child endangerment as well as pandering obscenities. Now, some of you may be wondering why would he do something like this, and Jonathan is what is known as a commercial collector, and what they do is they see the financial benefits of having photos and videos like that, and so they collect them in the hopes of making a profit off of them. And some of you may be wondering like, hey, he's in jail, he's never gonna get out. But say he did get out because his lawyer talked it down to where he had to register as a tier 2 offender, where he has to register every 180 days for the next 25 years. And on top of that, he managed to get out without bail, but all he has to do is wear an ankle monitor because he said that in order for him to be part of society, he has to prove that he's part of society. So by releasing him now, he can show his worth. Now, he was released under these conditions where on top of wearing an ankle monitor, he could not have any unsupervised contact with any minors, as well as he could not have access to the internet. Now, do you think he followed these conditions? No, because him and Kaitlyn still stayed in contact with one another. So on April 11th, 2023, Kaitlyn Coones had escaped from the foster care and had ran away again. And Jonathan had went to go pick her up from her where she was found at and took her back to his own place. Because at the time, Jonathan was staying with his mother's house, and so the way she got in was he actually snuck Kaitlyn into the house. Now, his mother, who is 53 years old, Nicole Jones, did not even know that Kaitlyn was even in the house. So after a few days of staying with Jonathan, Kaitlyn started feeling that Jonathan's mother didn't approve their relationship, even though his mother didn't even know they even had a relationship or that she was even living in the house with them. So she gave Jonathan an ultimatum: either you take care of your mother or I'm leaving. Now, after she gave him that ultimatum, she gave him 5 hours to do the deed. Otherwise, she said she would do it herself. And even though 5 hours came and went and he still didn't do it, she even gave him an extra hour to do so. So when Jonathan still hadn't done so, Kaitlyn had went to the back of the house, picked up a very large rock, and walked up behind Nicole as she was in the refrigerator with her back turned, and continued to beat her with the rock as well as strangle her. And when all this was taking place, Jonathan was sitting there watching TV, pretending like nothing was happening. So after they did what they did, they went ahead and went to different stores and had grabbed some tarp and trash bags, cleaned up the house, wrapped the body up, and then went to a nearby apartment complex and threw the body in the dumpster. And after they got rid of the body, they went ahead and took his mom's car and traveled down to Mexico. Now, during the time period that she was living with Jonathan, she was marked as a runaway, and so the FBI had to get involved because she was in the foster care system. And because Jonathan had missed his sentencing date for the previous crime with Kaitlyn, they had involved the U.S. Marshals to track him down. Now, the two were easily tracked down in Mexico, all because of different reasons. Because Kaitlyn had called one of the nurses that she trusted at the foster care and had told her what she had did in gruesome details. She had told him that she had took the life of 2 people, but nobody knows who the second person was. And when police got this notification what had happened, they went ahead and did a welfare check on Nicole, and when they actually found out that Kaitlyn wasn't lying. But by the time they went to the dumpster they said they dumped the body in, it was already at the landfill. But because of how big the landfill was, as well as safety reasons, they were not able to retrieve the body. But also on the note of the dumbest criminals ever, Jonathan had forgot to turn off his GPS system. Because he didn't deactivate the ankle monitor, they was tracked down easily and both of them were arrested. As of now, Kaitlyn is currently being charged with murder, aggravated murder, tampering with evidence, and the abuse of a corpse. And because of how heinous the crime is, she's also being charged as an adult. And the reason why is because Ohio is one of those states that even if you're under the age of 18, you could be still charged as an adult if the crime is a felony. Now, Jonathan is also being charged with connection to his mother's murder, on top of the other charges of child endangerment and the pandering of obscenities, and he's being held on a $1.125 million bond.